by the way, the smoking weed and the playing video games, a lot of that is what we call medicating anxiety. Are guys stressed out? Oh yeah. Is this a stressful economy right now?
Yes.
I mean, this past week it sort of seems like the whole world is falling apart. But I mean, it's just, it is a stressful time. Everyone is equally stressed. The difference is, how do women respond to stress? Work harder. How do young men respond to stress? Check out. So they're both stressed and anxious. But after 16 hours of World of Warcraft and 4 bowls of pot, and 3 hours looking at Hustler, I mean, I'm making up the specifics there. Where's their room for anxiety? It's not there. People with focus. We live in a culture where we believe that men are the ones who lack self-control. And that because of testosterone, or because of the Y chromosome, or because of something in the brain structure, we have these myths that men are at the mercy of their bodies, much as the Puritans had myths that women were at the mercy of their bodies. What a lot of you were probably wondering is, how did all this change? Especially, what happened to those ultra-responsible men of the Puritan era? And the answer to that question comes in 2 words. And don't worry, they're more interesting than they sound. The Industrial Revolution. So basically, half the week these guys are working. Is that a tough shift, 6 to 8, 6 days a week? You bet. What day do they get off? Sundays. If you've got 5 small children, do you get Sundays off?
No.
Do your children only need to be cleaned and fed between 6 and 8?
No.
Absolutely not. Do you work more than 84 hours a week if you're a stay-at-home mom with no help?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Is that backbreaking work?
Yes.
Especially when you're cleaning the diapers or cleaning up the mess not just left by your kid, but by your mother-in-law. Because neither your mother-in-law or your daughter, who's one, are capable of controlling their bowels. That's backbreaking work. The difference is, your husband's getting paid, you're not. And it gets worse. If your husband's working in a factory, who is he surrounded by? Other guys, other people. And there's a truth about work. The harder the job, the more you want other people to share it with. When you're doing something really boring, doesn't it make it so much easier to have your friends with you doing it? Absolutely. The work seems to go twice as fast. So no matter how awful the work was, in factories, the men who were working side by side, they could complain to each other. They took lunch breaks with each other. They were always together. They were getting paid the same. They could talk about their bosses, talk about their marriages, talk about the weather. They had someone there. If you're a woman at home with 4 small children and a mother-in-law with Alzheimer's, who do you talk to?
No one.
Can a small child be your best friend? No, that's weird. Emotional incest. Can an elderly person with dementia be your best friend?
No.
Well, you can try, but who knows? They may not recognize you in 5 seconds. Women's work was now solitary. Remember, on the farm, who pushes plows?
Everyone.
Everyone. Who cooks food? Everyone. The work is more or less interchangeable. And who's with you?
Everyone.
Well, not everybody, but your family. It wasn't, you're definitely around more people. But women are isolated, so they're not getting paid, and they're isolated. Now, pay matters. It's the women who are staying home, holding things together, and the guys who are out getting loaded, out gambling away the money, out sleeping with prostitutes. This, by the way, hasn't changed that much. Some guys today, it's less likely to be booze than it is to be pot. It's less likely to be prostitutes than it is to be porn. It's less likely to be gambling in terms of throwing dice as it is to be video games and poker. But if you look at pot, porn, PlayStation, and poker, substitute in Xbox, you see that a lot of young men are very much like their ancestors in 1820, wasting an extraordinary amount of time and money on entertaining themselves while neglecting responsibilities. I am not describing every man, but I bet I'm describing some guys you know. None of you, but some of your brothers you know out there. Hooked on the pot, hooked on the porn, hooked on the video games, loving to go play their poker nights with their buddies. Feminism has to be about not just giving women rights. That's obviously important. It's about transforming all of us. Because if all we do is give women rights, but we don't change men, what do we end up with? A lot of exhausted women.